Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome to this video. Clearly by the title, I'm going to take you guys for a first ride on this bike. Yes, secretly I know I've already ridden this bike a couple times. I'm sorry. I was born when I watched me elevate. But if you saw, I took delivery of this bike not too long ago. I'm breaking it in, right? So I'm still figuring out the quirks on it, what's doing well, what's not doing well, and obviously here soon we're going to be able to go above that rev range and really wind this thing out. Realistically though, we're going to talk about mainly the key differences between this model and the old model. The riding positioning's changed, the gearing's changed, so the rideability and the ergonomics, that's going to be a little different. There's some other videos I've got, new versus old, walk around first impressions, right? Check those videos out because that covers a lot of the things I'm not going to talk about today. We're going to talk about basically the rideability of this bike, the differences, the key differences. We've got a new updated engine and exhaust system for Euro 5 compliancy. You've got a longer swing arm, and the pivot on the suspension or the front steering stem is extended by 2 millimeters, so you've got 10 millimeters in length difference. The last true difference is this awesome dash. So let's throw a leg over this thing and get rolling. Gonna take this bike on some back roads today. This bike really obviously, well, any of these bikes in this category were born and bred for the track. These manufacturers have been nice enough to let us own a street legal option. So right off the bat, we talk about the difference in ergonomics and the handlebar positioning. Those are moved forward as well. What Cowie did is they kept the same responsiveness of the bike as far as like the turn in, but they also kept the nimbleness of this bike. When you turn in on this machine, it feels like a 600i, and that is no exaggeration. With the handlebar positioning pushed forward a little bit, you've got a wider stance. You've got the rear sets are a little higher. I don't know the exact dimensions, but they are higher than last year's model. Or the seating position is a little different as well. So what happens is you get a little more hunched over the front end here, which again, you want to put weight on that front end so you got good front end grip, and the front end is giving good feedback and it's very direct. Probably the biggest question I've gotten asked about this bike or this new model is it faster than the old model? There's some key differences which make this bike quicker, right, than the previous generation, and it's going to be much faster. So big thanks to Europe and the EPA for causing or creating more restrictions for combustion fuel, fossil fuel combustion machines. This bike has got a plethora of catalytic converters on it, and it's different from last year's model because the slip-ons from 2016 to 2020 do not work. Full exhaust systems work, but slip-ons, if you got this bike, you're gonna have to wait. So what Kawasaki has had to do is when you add more restrictions like that, you're robbing power from the bike. So Kawasaki has outdone themselves yet again in the engineering department and has revised and updated some engine internals to have this thing make more horsepower, geez Louise, all while restricting the beast. I mean, it's unreal. First, second, and third has been shortened, though the rear sprocket on this bike has went down 2 teeth.
Freaking idiot.
If you watch older videos of the press release of the 2016 ZX10R, they took it out to Malaysia and they complained about first gear. They complained it was very, very low and boggy, down in the low RPMs. When you get it on the road like this, the usable powers, it wasn't there. That is why I loved the ZX10R. I absolutely loved the way that bike made the power and delivered the power. feels like it has so much more power, and that's thanks to the new gearing. If you went down a sprocket in the front, I could only imagine what kind of power this bike would actually make and deliver. That's just, your butt dyno would be through the roof. Even though I have to tiptoe it and I can flat foot it, leaning it to one side, it's really not bad. When you're riding the bike, this new ride-by-wire, or I shouldn't say new, it's been out for a little bit, but this ride-by-wire technology, this is the first time I've really got to, you know, test the pros and cons, and I haven't found any cons. This is awesome. The system is very direct. Every little input is straight to the rear tire. There's no lag. Thanks to the new electronics, Kawasaki has added basically 7 riding modes total. You got 3 power modes, 5 levels of traction, including off. And probably one of my most favorite features about this new bike is the cruise control. That is a game changer. I'll be very curious to know, with the 2 new modes of intervention, how predictive and how much the ECU will let this bike cut loose, because Yamaha and I think Suzuki as well, and as well as Honda, I believe those bikes and their systems, they're reactive for one, so it waits for the slip to happen before it corrects itself. Again, it's still measuring so quickly that I don't know, it shouldn't really make that big of a difference. Whereas the Kawi, it's predictive, and you can only change the power mode and the traction mode. Yamaha, power mode, lift mode, traction control, slide mode. That is just right there. That is all included in the KTRC modes. So where Yamaha, you have a more customizable or individual customizable option, Kawasaki kind of meshes that and combines it, and to me, I think it's just more of a simplified way of user interface or usability. I think, to me, it's better for us average people, although I would love to be able to define the parameters a little more. I'm gonna wrap up this first ride video. I know I didn't cover, this isn't like a 30-minute video. I didn't want it to be. I wanted to cover the basics, basically the rideability, the ergonomics, and how this bike feels when it's on the road. Kawasaki did paper-wise to make major differences rideability wise. I recommend you go watch my walk around video, my comparison of the old and new ZX10. That'll give you a little more in-depth information. If there's anything that I didn't cover in any of those videos, be sure leave a comment down below and I will do my best to get that answered for you. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and as always guys, ride safe, have fun, and we'll see you on the next one.
Laugh where you can, Pinky. It's not over yet.
That's what you think, but it's not over yet.
What would a first ride be without a little Blood Mountain action? One thing to know about the lean angle sensor, I was talking about, it calculates the 6th axis. So the reason that's way better than actually measuring it is because when you get on a bank corner, it's actually going to calculate it like as if it was at 0. If that makes sense. So it's taken the degree of the bank turn into consideration as you're leaning the bike over. So the adjustments it makes are very specific to each corner, which is next level technology. I'm gonna try to sit a little more center in the seat so you guys can see the lean angle sensor go to work. There we go, that was a pretty good one. I'm gonna get a little more hanging off the bike here and finish the rest of this run out. That quick shifter is very smooth. The brakes on this thing are tremendous. My gripe with last gen's model is, for some reason, The brakes didn't have a really good bite. Whatever Kawasaki did pad wise, maybe it's that M50 caliper, it has completely transformed the braking of this bike. The initial bite I did not like. Oh, that was a big pothole. They would have a good follow through, but the bite was terrible. This thing has a way better bite, but an even better follow through. It's pretty awesome. With this updated ride and positioning, I kind of thought the wider handlebars would have not been all that well, but man, it feels so good. Very nimble. I mean, the turn in, the front end stability, especially the front end stability that this bike is known for, is next level. Again, I kind of wish I had my suit, but that'll come in the next couple months, because getting a knee down on this is obviously going to be no issue. I found out the throttle is pretty sensitive. It's very sensitive, and that's because this ride-by-wire system is so direct. So you really have to be very, very smooth on the throttle. That quick shift just makes you feel like you're in World Superbike battling alongside Jonathan Rea. And that quick shifter down is just immaculate. Very smooth. Very smooth.
It's over, all over, it's all over now.